destroyer from jail. 1003, follow me.
I'm the boss, said I'm K. Remember, I'll hold the world in my hand. Ha ha.
Don't be kidding yourself. The destroyer from jail. 1003, follow me.
I'm the boss, said I'm K. Remember, I'll hold the world in my hand. Ha ha.
Don't be kidding yourself. The destroyer from jail. 1003, follow me.
I'm the boss, said I'm K. Remember, I'll hold the world in my hand. Ha ha.
Don't be kidding yourself. The destroyer from jail. 1003, follow me.
I'm the boss, said I'm K. Remember, I'll hold the world in my hand. Ha ha.
Don't be kidding yourself. The destroyer from jail.
Main phase. Good evening and welcome to another one of the July streams where I'll be looking at games and letting you, the viewers, decide if they're jewels or if they're junk. Now this formula seemed to work quite well last week, or it was about a week ago, wasn't when I did the last stream, where you went through a good selection of games, mostly arcade ones at the time. And yeah, most of them people decided were actually worth being called jewels. The junk list and the just average games list were kind of small. This week we're going to be looking at police-themed games, so cops, criminals, gangs, that type of thing, because there was a fix for this game, The Destroyer from Jail, and it's kind of you've been let out of jail to go and tackle all the gang of criminals, and so that made me think, yeah, why not just use that as a bit of a theme for this week. So I'd like to welcome everybody who's in the chat right now. So we've got we've got Johnny AFC, who left a comment as soon as I put the stream up at about midday today, about 7 hours ago. We've got Thomas, who was also here early, Cow, and Bob. Bob is often here. Bob usually with a fact of the day. I did read that today was World Rum Day or something, but that's kind of only been around for about 2-3 years. We've got Tony Clements Garcia asking if I can do Batman, which I'll probably be doing in a bit. And MAME fan, who it sounds like may not be able to make it to the stream today, but has been very helpful over the course of the week and in general with these streams. Always somebody who's welcome here, and as is everybody. But yeah, MAME fan is a good contributor to the stream. We've got Stephen, and we've got Aussie Guy, we've got Extreme Rec, a lot of faces I recognise. R09 saying we're starting some high quality games. Indeed. We've got Frank Rizzo, 890. And yeah, I think that the ogre as well. The ogre is here, and you're here too now, Johnny. Welcome back then. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking around. I hope you've not been staring at the screen for 7 hours. Anyway. Yes, that is quite dark humour. Anyway. What do I do now? I put the volume. I should know what I'm doing by now, but here we go. Volume back up to a level about there. View changes here, but yes, welcome to everybody. And if anybody else is lurking, wrong view. What am I doing? That's the correct view. There we go. Right, so The Destroyer from Jail. It was added to MAME about 2 years ago now, I think. It's probably one of the very few games Philko did that isn't just a absolute, hack of something else, and is also quite ambitious. It's sort of developed a cult classic state, let's just say. When I first played it after it was emulated, I thought, what on earth is this? But, BBH has done 1 credit clears for it to prove it's 1 credit clearable, if you get your strategy right. But yeah, it's quite a janky little game, this one. Yeah, I have a feeling this one's going to be rated dual, because it sort of fits into that so bad it's good category. Now, what this actually reminds me of quite heavily is Ninja Gaiden. I think it's the general view and the way your up-down movements aren't quite straight, they're at a slight angle. I don't think it's hacked from Ninja Gaiden. I don't think it's just Ninja Gaiden with guns. I think it is an original piece of code from Philko, this one. But as you can see, there's all sorts of ridiculous billboards in the background, peace signs, the cat club. Yes, so keep an eye out, because there's all sorts in the background of this one. Yeah, Narc is generally a high resolution look. It's a midway game. It looks a bit different, whereas this is a 68K, so I guess similar resolution to Ninja Gaiden, so it reminds me more of Ninja Gaiden on a technical level, although the System 16 hardware itself, which this is a bootleg Sega System 16 hardware with its funky non-tile based sprites and all. Yeah, I guess being a 68K game, it just reminds me more of the Ninja Gaiden. But System 16 hardware is quite its own thing. Now the sound system is a bit different to System 16, which is why it took a while for the sound to be properly emulated, which is one of the things you'll be hearing. All the little screams and things when you kill somebody, they were missing previously. You just really had the music and a few spot effects. But now you've got the full experience. And all the talking you heard in the intro as well. You know, the bad B-movie speech. That is now new. That wasn't before. And here we have Pit. I'm wondering if that's hiding Pit Fighter because, you know, you see the glitchy colours on that just before it exploded. Yeah, this game's full of glitchy graphics and glitchy problems, and they're not going to be emulation bugs. They're just going to be the game programming. Yes, game over. Let's continue. Now notice that the time is going down at quite a rate too, and the time is one of the buggy things in this game. We'll come to that in a bit. Yeah, you are the criminal, but you've been let out of jail to do the police's business, I think. I'm not quite sure. I mean, you are the destroyer from jail, and you're clearly taking on criminal gangs. So I don't know if the idea is that, you know, you were the best criminal in prison, so they've let you out to go and, you know, do their business. Maybe for a shorter sentence or something. But, yeah. And look, that character's quite an injury. And you got blasted with a gun. I mean, don't bring ninja stars to a gunfight. I'm not sure. The shop is very descriptive there. That one sells red wine and the other one clearly sells AC/DC. I mean, that's probably air conditioning, isn't it? Or maybe it's just 89 rock. I wonder if that's the year of release. I thought it was early 90s, but 89 up there could be. There's adverts for Golden Tea in this too, which kind of puts a timestamp on it, but we don't actually know the year of release. Of course I'm fireproof, why would I not be? Yeah, you can walk through the fire. Just don't walk on mines, because that happens. Also, don't kill the wrong enemy in two-part bosses, because you die for doing that for some reason, because the game glitches out and displays your death animation instead of theirs. It's a wonderfully buggy game. It's also two-player co-op, but you know, I've not got a second person here, so there'll be no two-player co-op on the stream. Born to Fight, Lordeal. Yeah, I mean, I think they use most of their background budget on this first level, to be quite honest, with all the adverts. But maybe they didn't expect too many people to play it beyond that. Decent variety of enemies on the first stage as well, but again, they're getting through a lot of their enemy budget already. Oh, look, we've got Heavy Metal Army up there. Nice flashing sign. Bit of speech there too. Hey Mitchell, welcome. Buggy game, it's Philko. You know, Philko aren't known for making original games. And if you look at other Philko things like Turtle Ship and Where's the Hacks of Capcom games, their other System 16 efforts, for Snapper and Atomic Point seem to be original code, but they're very unoriginal concepts, very simple games. What's the other one called? Lock On is an original piece of code, but hacked up Carrier Airwing graphics. No, it's not a bootleg, Mitchell. It's an original game from Philco. Player 2 score is XXXXX. That's because Player 2 isn't playing. Now, if you noticed then, during the between level thing with getting in the van, the time didn't stop. That's one of the curious things, because you can die between levels. There they go. Being taken away in the Philco truck to the next level, where there is a no AIDS poster. Now, these criminals are wearing your standard black and white stripes, because that's how you know they're criminals. Oh, and there's a piston cap. Yeah, you can't walk too far. That's as far as you can walk across the screen, so I can't actually pick that thing up yet, even though I can see it. Now I can walk this far. And that's... Yeah, I do have the secondary attack, actually. But don't waste them, as I'm wasting them. They're quite useful. It's an avoid women poster, is it? It could well be. I don't know. So, oh yeah, here we've got the AC/DC van. Did you get the impression that maybe the developers of this game are AC/DC fans? I mean, that's the second AC/DC reference we've had in the game. Again, probably a stolen bit of artwork there to make it up. And there we go. Quiet diet, metal help. Okay. I believe that is suggesting that you eat your metal quietly and lose weight. I'm guessing metal's not very nutritious. Rocket arm, indeed. So, yeah, it does initially feel like this is just sort of a cheap imitation of Narc. Badly programmed and all. There's a little extra time that comes in handy as well. Oh, we've got somebody with a more powerful gun here. Yeah, the developers of this one sure did. I do wonder if this was Philko's last game. It seems very, very ambitious compared to other Philko games. And Philko did just kind of vanish at the start of the 90s in terms of producing games. And this board is rather rare. So I'm wondering if this just cost them all the money they had to make. Let's take my rocket. Oh, that didn't work very well, did it? Now, there are strategies for avoiding these things. And so you can one credit clear this game. BBH has done so on one of his streams. And I think he's planning on doing it again now that we've added the speech. Yes, this is definitely a badly programmed game, David. And also, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. Yes, there's a lot to take in with this game, which again, it's kind of why it's, I think, attained that cult status. You know, the whole so bad it's going. I mean, some of these enemy designs are just out there too. I mean, we've got pirate guys walking around on two wooden legs. We've got footballers. We've got ninjas. It's incoherent. It's a mess. And then we've got your standard criminals. But that kind of makes it fun. I think that, you know, it's not just dull and unentertaining. It's like, what is going on here? Why does all this happen? Yes, they are on stilts and they are kind of small. Oh, look, here's the boss just exploded from that. Now, this is the boss where if you kill the wrong one first, it will cost you a life because the boss explodes with your death animation. I don't remember which one it is that you have to kill first, but we'll go with... I think that one's a bit okay. I think we're okay. It didn't play my death animation when I killed it. But I'm successfully losing enough lives myself. Yeah, okay, we got away with that. The animations aren't the best, although there's a lot of frames of animation on the main character, more than on comparable games. I am playing on the one-player side, but I don't remember. I think it depends which one you kill first. Welcome to Xenon, not the Amiga game. Also, no Eon welcome. Now we're in a theme park, which is pirate themed. Again, I'm not really sure what my role as the destroyer from jail is. I mean, I've heard to be terrorizing, you know, terrorist pirates at a theme park. I don't know. You certainly think this is satire. I don't know if it's intentionally satire. Oh yeah, we've got the continue screen where you're being electrocuted or something. I think it's just incoherent. I think they just threw everything into the mix. It's one of those games. Also, they like putting their company logo in places. You can't forget this is a Philko game because there's your Philko hippo. Vomiting water. Yes, I am just credit feeding this. And now we've got penguin bombs. And it goes bongo near the end, does it? Now if you get too close to the penguins, they blow up. Which is exactly what you'd expect a penguin to do. Now all the enemies do have names. If you clear the game, it tells you exactly what each enemy is called. I think that one is just called like Penguin Bomb or something like that. You're roller coaster in the background, and there's ninjas at this park too, of course. This is what I mean. By now, I think you're just recycling enemies, unfortunately. It has shown you pretty much all of them early on. Obviously, the game isn't going to win awards for being well programmed. Oh, here's something new. But you know, the more I've played it, the more I understand why people actually quite like it. So personally, while maybe 2 years ago I would have put this easily in, you know, junk, I don't think I can do that now. I think it's sort of a hidden jewel, just very rough around the edges. I think it was a electrified Dodgem car, bumper car, blowing up the cola machine. Now, obviously, this is not a good play of this game. I'm just credit feeding it to show you what it is. Yeah, the flamethrower. That guy has a flamethrower yet, because why not? I mean, it is a theme park, so the bumper car things with gun turrets make sense ish. I mean, as much sense as they can make. I'm wasting my shots. Now, I always struggle with these games where you're shooting because you have to be on the right plane to shoot them. And I can't always judge it. It's a bit like trying to play Zaxxon and judge the height for me. But if you work it out, it's not too bad. So we'll complete this level at least. I mean, we've not been going for too long. We've been going for about 15 minutes of the game so far. But this is the one I wanted to show off at the start of the screen because of the bug fix, and because, you know, people have been playing it and might be interested in seeing the bug fix or hearing the bug fix. But it's nice to hear the effects. It just adds a little bit to it, even if I'm being juggled by bumper cars and pirates. Well, we'll get to the boss of this stage soon, I hope. I think it's soon. Shoot you in the head. Now note that the point there said 30,000. I think it gives you 3,000 points. So they're not even consistent with the display on the power-ups and how many points they give you. Because why would they be? So technically, you can find 1,000 faults with this game. Oh look, not knockoff artwork there. That's definitely not Donald Duck. Daffy Duck. No, Donald Duck. One up. Ooh, I got a one up. Ronald McDuck. But yeah, there's to be fair, that is the kind of artwork you do see at a lot of these knockoff theme parks. I'm waiting for a Daffy Duck, and there's your not Mickey Mouse. Apparently they didn't do Daffy Duck. Now we've got some clowns. that have slightly turned invisible, because why not? Consistently inconsistent. Oop. Now, there is probably a better strategy than stand and die. Yes, but you can just walk through fire. I say, note the timer doesn't stop here. So if you do try and complete the level when you run out of time, you will die during the sequence where you're meant to be ending the level. I do not know what the grey dog is, or the squirrely thing, or the bird. I don't think it's Tweety Pie. So yeah, the clowns were the boss of that level. Now, I do like it says old and unimproved. Well, that's not the case with the emulation. It is new and improved. But here's your golden tea golf posters in the bar. Again, that kind of puts at least a rough date on when it came out, because there would have been golden tea posters in a bar. So, what are the general opinions of this game in the chat? Like, I don't think we can put it in junk, personally. It does make you want to keep playing it, if not only to find out what ridiculous thing happens next, or what ridiculous background you get to see next. You think it's a little dull, do you, Stephen? Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the way the chat goes with this one. Just a gut feeling, because most of the commentary I've seen about the game has been that. Oh look, the visually that's a bit glitchy there, because it doesn't know if to just lay behind a wall or in front of a wall, because it can't do that kind of priority trick. The hardware is incapable of it. Stars. Definitely not Starbucks. You think Jewel 2 the Ogre? Okay. Possibly one of the Blues Brothers Extreme Wreck. I mean, it has things from all sorts of pop culture thrown in here, doesn't it? I think these are new enemy type, these gangsters for this level. I think they might be. Anyway, this is going to be my last credit on this one. And then we'll move on to another game. So far, this one is going to be going in the dual category. Bob's going with average, as is Aussie guy. You think that BBH memed it? BBH did kind of meme it, didn't he? I think it was meme-worthy. So is that like 3 joules and 2 averages? Oh, that is a game over. If you want to see the rest of this ridiculous game, then probably wait till the next version of MAME is out so that you get the bug fix. And even this animation here, look, the guy's head, the sky is moving with it, because for some reason they couldn't just cut out a head without the sky. I have no explanation for that sprite work there. Out of 7. Oh, we've still got a credit in. You can watch the intro one more time. Right. Okay, so yeah. Is meme worthy jewel worthy? Oh no, you've gotten junk. Jewonk. I don't. It's funny bad. You've heard the awfulness of Sparkman. Yeah, it's kind of in a similar awful Korean, but still kind of want to play it category, isn't it? You think the over the I think it does too, the ogre. I also just like the effort that's been put in. I mean, like I said, if you look at Philko's other work, it doesn't come close. So, you know, respect for them for trying. A jewel from RO9. All right. Well, okay. Let's exit that one and get the pens out. I've not prepared my sheet this time. So. So, the first jewel of the night does indeed go to the Destroyer from jail. Now, we're next. See, and the next one I'm not so sure where people are going to put. The emulation of this one is not perfect. So, that's one thing to keep in mind. You may find there are some issues here. For example, I've had to use a save state to start it up without a coin inserted. Never a good start, but it's marked as not working even. Oh well. Let's see how we go. Bit of a story. But we've got to arrest the criminals. Now, I'm sure you kind of recognise the gameplay we've got going on here. And if you don't recognise the gameplay we've got going on here, I'd be surprised. Because it's kind of mimicking a much more famous game. Yeah, it is a bit of a knockoff of Chase HQ from Tatsumi, who did actually good games like Boogie Boy and TX1. But yeah, here they're just making a knockoff of Chase HQ. Now, like I said, there are some sprite glitches, like those bikes there should be rotating, not jumping around. So technically the hardware is more capable than Taito's Chase HQ hardware, but the rotation effect isn't emulated, so the effect is missing. Anyway, shall we coin it up? Now it looks like two are out. And press start. So, again, there's probably meant to be a road here of some sort, but so they're escaping from New Orleans. Go and listen. Don't know if there's meant to be some music, but if there is, it's not playing. So enjoy the car effects. Oh, yeah, it said New Orleans, didn't it? So I'd better stick on the right side, the correct side of the road here. So, I mean, this is one of those games where if Chase HQ didn't exist, I think people would talk about this game a lot more. But Chase HQ does exist. And therefore, this game kind of just ends up in Chase HQ's shadow. Maybe they thought they could better Chase HQ. Now you see, this is where the bikes are meant to be leaning into you, but instead of kind of jumping up in the air. So that is an emulation fault. And again, I did say I wanted to look at that at some point, but never got around to it. When I was looking at, I think it was Big Fight, which uses a similar sprite system, including the rotating sprites. So now your bikes are out the way, and we can ram you off the road. Or at least try to. There we go. A couple of extra gunshots into the air. The car is a Ferrari F40, just saying. Yeah, it's basically a mix of those games. Although they probably didn't play Lotus, to be honest, because Lotus is not a Japanese game. So it's probably they played Chase HQ, they played... Was Turbo out when this came out? I don't know. They've gone to... So some of them gone to LA, some of them gone to Los Angeles. So you get a choice of which car you go after, actually. So do I want to go to Las Vegas and chase the grey one, or that way and chase the other? Okay, I think that road was a bit glitchy where it's split too, because it seems to both be going off at the same angle. Again, this is marked as not working, so you do expect some emulation glitches. However, it's not as bad as some games that are marked as not working. Hurry up. Unfortunately, it doesn't have Nancy because, you know, Nancy is all important to Chase HQ. And there's no Nancy telling you what to do. Okay, we run out of time. You can continue where you left off, which makes it a bit easier. But yeah, it might look more impressive with the rotation effect emulated, because that would give it something over Chase HQ. Also, I don't know why all these criminals have, you know, a bunch of escorts, because as far as I know, we're not chasing down the president. And most criminals probably aren't going to be driving around with a whole biker gang, because it kind of gives away their presence. So both are 89, so yeah, they could have seen things like the tour out on the map screen and kind of copied it a little bit, because the style there seems too similar to me. Right, there we go. Now there's probably meant to be some other rotation effect when the car bounces in the air there. It only takes a few hits, because most of the destruction in this one is the bikes. And there you go, you're behind bars too, literally. Very literal behind bars animation then. Oh, let's go again. I don't know if the route you take influences the next stage, because the map up top kind of indicates it might. Now we've only got one way to go this time, to LA. Oh no, we've got 2 ways. So, tells you the second way afterwards. I am incorrect. I can't draw. Now the cars do have a very flat look, the opposition ones at times, but they scale smoothly. That's the confusing thing, because Tatsumi clearly were good at their tech, and they could produce a good driving game, as Boogie Boy proved. So I'm just wondering why they kind of were so unoriginal with this one. But, I mean, my opinion on this one is I'd put it into average. I don't think it's junk. I think it's, you know, well executed for what it is. It's just highly unoriginal and not as good as its source material. You don't really have as much thrill of the chase either. You just get to the enemy and they're surrounded by these bikes. Nice police siren effect up there. Kind of reminds me of the CPC Chase HQ where it's got the sirens at the top of the screen, although in that case it's clearly to not have to draw quite as much screen. Here it's just because they wanted it to. And yeah, these seem to be cyborg bikers. And driving through a tunnel where you can't see the road is kind of tricky. Also, I put it in low gear, which is probably a bit of a silly thing to do. Is this entire chase in a tunnel? This tunnel probably lasts forever, doesn't it? I think we're in the endless tunnel. Maybe it's the Channel Tunnel, although we're in LA. Oh no, here we go. We are out of the tunnel, which is a very long tunnel. Also, the stages seem a bit samey at times. Yeah, I mean, we'll probably look at a proper Chase HQ game in a bit. Now, this is the car I didn't go after last time, isn't it? So I think you probably have to go after all the cars in whatever order you choose. But yeah, it's starting to be a bit annoying now, to be honest. And back into the tunnel. Hey Franco, the tunnel blew your mind. I don't think the tunnel's properly emulated, actually. I'm pretty sure I should be able to see the road right now. Also, I don't seem to be making any progress. Oh dear. But I suppose if you've mastered Chase HQ and you want a bit of a new challenge, this serves that purpose. So you kind of have to wreck these bikes. I think maybe the bikes respawn if you continue, because otherwise they seem to be infinite. And maybe the zooming effect, the missing rotation effect, isn't helping me aim at them because I can't really tell where they are. So this is where the emulation kind of is falling apart, I feel. Also, there's clearly rubber banding. So yeah, they seem to disappear. So I'm probably not going to get past this stage, if I'm honest with you, because you have to be able to actually play the game. Yeah, I don't think it is emulated well. I mean, I know there are missing sprite effects, and it is marked as not working. So, but yeah, the car in front of you keeps exact speed with you, which is kind of annoying. It is literally a shield of bikers you have to get rid of before you can even attempt to get rid of the car. And the white effect in the tunnel is probably not correct. Anyway, emulation issues aside, I mean, this one was going to be in my badly emulated games stream, but I didn't get around to it. What do people generally think of it? Do you think if it was emulated better, it would be in that average category? Yeah, I'd probably need to look for real hardware footage of it, because I mean, I would like to try and improve the emulation of these ones, because I think there's a decent game hidden away in them. I wouldn't say there was a jewel personally, but I think there's at least an average game hidden away in this. With that steering wheel, I don't stand a chance of entering a name there. Average for you. Any other opinions? I've done Dead Connection on a different stream, Franco. I don't know if I'm going to do it on this one. Very average. Yeah, it needs work, Aussie guy. It's one of those that will be nice to show off when the rotation effects are implemented, at least. But it fit the stream, and I thought it was a little bit different to show off, especially as a lot of people might not have tried it due to the not working status, but it does enough to give you the idea. Average the Ogre, average David. Yeah, we'll put this one down as average, I think. I might look at Dead Connection later, Franco, although since I have done it on a previous stream, I'm not going to prioritise it, and there is quite a lot to cover, so I might not get around to it. But yeah, let's put an average down here then. Now, there is meant to be a 3-screen version of Roundup 5 that isn't dumped. If the 3-screen version was dumped, that might actually bump it up to dual for me, because 3-screen games are kind of special. But for now, there's a single-screen version dumped, and yeah, it's a bit of an average Chase HQ knockoff. Cosmic Cop, aka Gallop, is on the potential list, yes, Franco. In fact, that might not be a bad one to go to now, because it's a bit different. It's a shooter. So, yeah, let's have a look at Cosmic Cop. 3-screen games sound like a nightmare. They work quite well on a widescreen monitor, Extreme Rec. You can chop a little bit off and you get a nice widescreen display. Or, you know, if you've got streaming set up like this, you've got 3 monitors. Anyway, Cosmic Cop. Irem game, also known as Gallop. You don't have to really focus on all 3 screens at the same time. The other screens are just periphery. They help, but they're not essential typically. Yeah, this has some of those lovely Irem sprites, doesn't it? And there you go, police on the side of the vehicle. Now, I know I have done this one on another stream as well, but I think it was a while ago. Turn it down a little bit. Now, it says arms when you get the power-ups. So, go to the controls. I don't think it uses all 4 buttons, does it? Let's just shoot it. So, let's coin it up. And press start. And mad car was seen. The dough has the record. Enter my name. My name is ... So yeah, we've got different fire. We've got beam. The laser beam you can only use a bit of, and then it needs to charge up again. The other shot you can use whenever you want. So let's bit of slowdown, but quite a few of these Irem games with lots going on have slowdown. Horizontal shooter, so last through the thing. I think we lost our arms there. Spin laser now. And I hit something. Just tell you where the danger. It tells you where things are going to be, which is important. Shooters that have enemies coming in from the side or sudden obstacles that don't tell you when they're coming are really annoying. So this one at least lets you know. I'm getting hit by lots of things. Danger is there. Yeah. The voices sound kind of berserk-like. Metallic sound to them. Accurate police, future police simulator. Another future police simulator I was considering for the stream is G-Police on the PlayStation. It's got a very cyberpunk look to it, Blade Runner look. Although I don't know how to play that one because it's a bit slow-paced. Laser my way through that one. Here we go for a boss. And again, very Irem Metal Slug-like graphics for the boss. There's all those curves. Nothing is right angles. It's all circles and welded onto. Very organic look, but at the same time, very definitely made of metal. It's almost like a metal tree. Natural form, but shiny. Yeah, the cop car and the boss would make a nice T-shirt. A lot of these this retro imagery would, but you tend not to find it. You're only going to find the super popular games. As T-shirts. Yeah, it's very R-Type, isn't it? It's definitely got that Irem feel. It's faster paced than R-Type. Very different weaponry system to R-Type. But yeah, visually, it's got that R-Type colour scheme as well in places, I think. Irem did like these colours. These explosions. Oop. Metal Tree is going to be your next band name. It's probably already been taken, unfortunately. Most of the time, I think that'd be a cool band name, and you just find it's already been taken. I don't know. I don't technically know what to do about these things. I guess just dodge them. I like games that announce the power-ups in voice too. I don't know, it's just a nice little feature. I think that's where you have to start bashing the button a bit faster. or not run out of laser. I love this continue screen as well. The colour fading, the way the numbers are made up of the balls. Oh yeah, the regular shot works here better than the laser. Okay. But yeah, if you hit the side, you lose your power up, unfortunately. I'm not really sure about the music. It's very jazzy. And I don't think jazz really goes with futuristic space cop shooter. But that might just be me. I don't like these things. Yeah, also very similar to In the Hunt, I'd say, in terms of graphics. Another Irem one. I should have known that'd be a dead end. Yeah, I mean, Irem in general put a lot of effort in. Nuclear Strike was the last official Strike game. Where did the Nuclear Strike come from? I only ever really played Jungle Strike, Desert Strike, and briefly Urban Strike. I played through Urban Strike, but it's completely forgettable. I know when the 3D ones, I think it was Nuclear on the PC came out, was it Soviet? My PC couldn't run it, so I never played it. And I didn't realise those two were on the PlayStation 2, even though I had a PlayStation. I never saw them for sale. Yeah, people remember the Metal Slug voices as well, don't they? The bad English in them. It just helps. It sticks in your mind. I can't explain why. I think it makes you pay more attention, or makes it more obvious what something does, which sometimes you pick up a power up, you go, what did that do? Or what should I call that? If I'm talking to you, the laser power up, the heavy machine gun power up, they stick in the mind because it actually announces them. So yeah, obviously we'll have another go of another credit on this one. Horizontal shooters always focus more on the environmental hazards, which is what you're seeing here. I don't know why that ended up being the case. Outside of Japan, not so much. We got like the vertical shooters on, computers that had hazards. Xenon being a classic one, not a particularly good one if you ask me. But in Japan, it tended to be the horizontal shooters had things to avoid. The vertical ones didn't. Not sure why that came to be, but that's just how it is. There are exceptions. I mean, Capcom's 1941 has quite a few things to avoid, and that is a vertical shooter. But, in general. StarCraft isn't that good. Didn't play much of StarCraft. I probably played more of Mission Craft in MAME than StarCraft. If you've not played Mission Craft in MAME, you've missed out on something spectacularly bad. Okay, let's keep going, because I'm not ready to quit yet. Even if I get to the point where I'm really bad at these games. Blow the ones up behind me, it's far more useful laser. Oop. That was clever. Ugh. Steps. I love the starfield here too. Just simple, but it looks so good. Yeah, let's say there are some, Bob, but it's just less common, I'd say. Whereas the majority of horizontal ones have you doing it. I think some of the NMK horizontal ones might not always. Mustang, I don't think it's that heavy on dodging things, popping bullets and enemies. Ahem. Reminder to myself: dodge bullets and enemies. Otherwise, we'll be here a lot. Death for you is optional. Death for me is not. Some of Saikyo's horizontals are good, and Sengoku Blade's pretty good. Aussie guy. I like the way the enemy splits between the two parts of the stage there. But it kills me off just the same. So, thoughts on this one? I'm going to guess people are going to say this one is gem territory, jewel territory. I make the worst horizontal shooter player though. I need to expand my chat window a bit too. It's I've got it kind of small, so I'm only seeing about 3 messages at a time. I don't think I could have avoided that. There are a few cheap deaths in this, I feel. It's maybe a slight negative. Obvious gem jewel for you, Aussie guy. Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to quit this one now because it's getting a bit tricky for me, and I'm not the best player of any of these. So, substance and style, that has it all. Definitely a jewel from Bob. You would cop this, doing otherwise would be criminal. That is a bad pun, Frank. That is a very bad pun, but yeah. Pretty good, a jewel from Stephen, yeah. Obvious gem jewel from Aussie guy. 100% jewel from Extreme Rec. Keep saying things like that and you'll be arrested. Coin muncher. Yeah, it's definitely a coin muncher, but you can be good at it. I think you can. Pretty sure you can one clear it. A lot of the shots are targeted. So I guess if I'd stayed near the top in those narrow passages, I could have dodged down. But since I was going in the middle, it was my own doing. It's a case of learning some of these. So, have I missed anything in the chat? Don't. Undercover cops mixed with arrow flash. I wouldn't have thought of it like that. Extreme Wreck. Also, hey SB, welcome to the chat. You think that's a great game? So I'm going to go with a jewel from SB2. Yeah, a bit slow down, David. Okay, so we're going to put Cosmic Cop into jewels. Now, you could say the next one I'm going to look at is a bit of a cheap trick to waste maybe 5 minutes of the stream, and it may well get the stream muted, but here we go. Plug and play Rockstar guitar. Let's go easy, because otherwise I'm not going to manage to do this. So, This is one of those plug-and-play guitars. And these came in a number of shapes and sizes with slightly different layouts at times. Some of them have better quality renditions of the songs than others. They're all kind of MIDI-ish. They all run on Sun Plus type hardware. And I've owned a few of these. This one and I think, was it Guitar Fever? Which are the ones that are easy enough to get in the UK. But yeah, since this song is Cheap Tricks Dream Police, and I'm struggling on easy. I'm struggling on purpose, by the way, just so that it doesn't get muted. No, I'm genuinely terrible at all these games. I don't have the reaction time to read the button presses. If you want to see me really struggle, let me put it on anything other than easy. Yeah, your whammy thing, just that. This has no redeeming value. Crazy Sue. Compared to some of the other ones, I don't actually mind this one. If you couldn't afford Guitar Hero... Although unfortunately, on the real unit, the controls are ridiculously stiff, so it's like, it's even more difficult. I'm kind of glad these are emulated though, because they show the influence things like Guitar Hero actually had. You know, the fact that all these companies were cloning them, making their own little versions of them. I mean, this is a 2D presentation, which I actually find easier. Some of them have got the into the screen presentation just like Guitar Hero. Whereas this one, it's nice, simple, 2D down the side, some pre-rendered animations on the right. I'm expecting people to say this is junk. Personally, I would say it's average, but I will go with what the chat says. I mean, the game's trying to hint to you that it's awesome. Look, awesome, 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 awesome. I give up. This is the section that if I put it on anything other than easy, I just play the entire song on. At least this one, when you fail a note, it just failed the note in the song. Some of them makes absolutely no difference if you fail the note or not. It just plays the music regardless. If you're late though, it's just sometimes miss it. So, yeah, I'm not going to play it on hard because, well, I can show you it on hard, just so you can see. I mean, the other thing of this, you know, it does go in time with what you can see on screen. You know, it does represent in some way the music, which some of them don't. They just have random notes at any point which make no sense at all. Yeah, choice of backgrounds. But yeah, I've put it on say hard. Now we do. So it does have different difficulties. So if you're good at these games, you can play it on the harder modes. But as soon as this starts to get to the more tricky parts of the track, I fail miserably. Well, is your band called People Who Can't Play Guitar at All Ever? Period. Because if so, I may be able to join you and tour Alaska. Well, Yeah, yeah. Now you can just watch me fail badly. And also, hopefully, this is muted. Yeah, whatever. Let's just go like this and fail the song. Now it says bad, now it says fail. I don't think anybody's ever sued for these. I think these are actually licensed. They just say the track names at the start, at least on this one. So I think they did license the music on these Extreme Rec. It says Sony licensed on it and everybody else licensed. So I think they did license them. This is a UK version. It's got a Manic Street Preachers song on it even. So, yeah. So, where am I putting it? As if I need to ask. Anyone play guitar? Come to Radiohead? Apparently. I mean, I did hear that. That's Pablo Honey, wasn't it, that one? Aussie guy, average. Bob, average. I mean, I'm going average with it. There are far, far worse guitar games. Thomas is going junk. Dolphin Blue is on a Thomas Wave hardware, so it boots in MAME, but it runs very, very slowly. Average, junk, competent for plug and play. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the Chinese dance mats. Some of those do say licensed music on them. I'm not sure how many of them are. R09 junk. So we've got, including me, we've got 4 averages. We've got 3. We've got 4 junks. Oh. We've got Crazy C, very junk. We've got SB junk. So I think this one's going to go in junk then. We've got more junks than average. I mean, I thought that one might scrape into average, but apparently that one goes in junk, which means I'm going to have to make a junk category on this piece of paper. Junk Brigade did come out, Bob. So Rockstar guitar. Goes into junk. So if the previous bit of the stream is muted on catch up because of, songs, apparently you've not missed much because everybody thought that was junk or average at best. So just for the show, there we go. We have a junk category, and the Rockstar guitar goes in junk. I think I've still got the box for that somewhere, but I can't show it. The viewers is jumping up and down all over the place at the moment. Not sure what's going on there, unless that is YouTube blocking it because of the music, but who knows. You rate it a 3. I say I quite enjoy that one, but I can't blame people for saying it's junk. And that is what this stream is all about. People giving their opinions on the games I play. Right. Okay. Vertical. Now, this is Crazy Cop by Konami. This was, I believe, gangbusters outside of Japan. Now, is this your game, Crazy C? It's hard to unsee the better guitar games. Yeah, I guess so. Now, these don't look much like cops, but I guess they're Crazy Cops. But yes, this is a Konami game from '88. Here's your briefing. Duel for the name. You can't vote already, Crazy C. So you got your gangsters robbing the bank, and now we're chasing after them with our pea shooter. I don't know. It really looks like I have a pea shooter. It looks like I'm firing peas. Power up. Yeah, I'm rounding up the criminals. I'm going on. It's sort of a commando-like game. Get them in there. They're in the police van. hardened criminals here with a forklift truck. You're also counting your money in the middle of the street outside the bank. That was a bit silly. Oh. Nope. Oh dear. Well, apparently I'm quite bad at this, but you can get in the van too. Anime cop punks with anime hair hats. Yeah, this game is clearly not taking itself too seriously in the terms of the style. I guess that's why it's called Crazy Cop, not Serious Cop. And I don't know how they didn't break their legs jumping off there, but we won't question it. Now, maybe not so much the type of game you associate with Konami, this, a vertical commando-like run and gun. Oh. That's how you go up the stairs, is it? You teleport up the stairs by walking through the door. Interesting. Oh, game OV. Yeah, let's continue. Get in the van. I'm just kicking a ball of gold like it's a football. Apparently I am. That works. But now the gold is gone. Yeah, I'm surprised this didn't end up having a more serious theme outside of Japan, to be honest. But I guess they thought the appeal was this kind of crazy cop. But they renamed the game from Crazy Cop to Gangbusters, which is a far more serious name. But they left the sprites as they were. Wanted Peter Gunn will not sound too much like Peter Gunn. You did get a lot of that in Japan with the soundtracks, to be honest. Now apparently I've got some other weapon as my primary weapon, which is really slow. I think I'm throwing Coke cans. That is not a useful weapon. I prefer my pea shooter, thank you. Turtles on the Famicom. Yeah, it's not a common Konami look. I mean, they do have other vertical top-down games. Gaiopolis is one that comes to mind. That's kind of RPG-like. Not so much a plain shooter. Probably one I should look at some point too. Not this stream, because it doesn't really fit the theme. Why do they help after you... They're criminals and they're saying help after you catch them. Okay. Are they saying help because they've been caught? Is that it? They're not wanting help. Now, I am kind of doing badly here, so, you know, generally credit feeding my way through this. But we'll see where it goes. A little bit of silence. Got another boss. Something off the side of the screen. It reminds me of the submarine scene in, is it Mercs? Is it Mercs? But, you can't see the submarine to shoot here. Yeah, the boss end of levels seem to be these the enemy rush things. I mean, I'm definitely not the undercover police. That is for sure. I'm kind of obvious, unless I was like at a punk festival, in which case I'd fit right in. This isn't a punk festival. Also, why do missiles bounce? I'm not going to ask why missiles bounce. That's a silly question. You have cleaned up the second area. I don't know, there's plenty of my own corpses lying around, I think, at this point, given how often I died. Go up here, can't we? Yeah, let's go up here. Kind of funky music. Oh, I've got no missiles. That's good. Where's the weak spot on this? Probably right here where all the barrel... Come on, Konami, give me a chance. Where is the weak spot on this enemy? Oh, okay. It's taking pity on me. What do you mean I can't put the gold on the raft? Inspector Gadget. At least it's more playable than that Inspector Gadget game was. I couldn't work out the problem with that one. It's not that the bits are inverted, because that just sends you into test mode, and the test mode bits are correct. So I don't know why that has stuck controls. Quite confusing, actually. Somebody probably have to look at the code and see how it differs from the actual Spectrum version. Maybe there's even a missing ROM, but that seems a bit extreme. But there is a space in a space between two of the ROMs. But that's something else. That's the Russian hack and Inspector Gadget on the Spectrum for the arcade, which we looked at in the bootleg stream. So, what do people think of Crazy Cop anyway? I like the theme, personally. Not a huge fan of the gameplay, but that's because I'm bad at it. And I can't really say a game is bad because I'm bad at it. Personally, I think this one's kind of average. There are better games in the genre. But you think it's a duel, Lord Dalek, and Extreme Rec thinks it's a duel too. I do like the theme. Okay, Aussie guys, okay. And there don't seem to be proper bosses either, which is kind of a shame. Just those boss rush things. Maybe later on there are better bosses. You also have far too few rocket attacks for my liking, and you don't get them back on continue. SB's average. Bob says duel. Okay, we've got a few duels and a few averages. I think the duels are winning at the moment. There's not a version Daunt with the rotary stick. I don't think there's a version that exists. Nobody's ever said there's meant to be a rotary stick version, and there's no dip switch for rotary. So I don't think so. Because yeah, that would be another Konami Vertigo game, wouldn't it? Jackal. Top Gunner. That does have rotary. It's definitely got a style to it. I think it's one where you'd want to play through it at least once. And the music, let's say the music's kind of funky. I mean, a good soundtrack always helps a game. I mean, okay. Again, I guess this is just boss rush time. Enemy rush time, whatever you want to call it. Move a little bit too slowly, maybe. You're going up Jewel. Yeah, Gangbuster's main fan, aka Crazy Cop. See, by the time I've seen those missiles, I can't move out the way of them, and there's no. I think it would benefit from a roll button. I think if this was my game, I would have given it a roll button to dive out the way of things, because like then it's like I don't think you can shoot the missiles. No, you can't shoot the missiles, and you can't dodge them if you see them that late. But yeah, I think yeah, probably a good co-op game. You're right, Bob. There's a fly in here that's really annoying too. Oh, those deadly forklift trucks again. The end. Well, you know, there you go. Crazy Cop. Stylish. Probably not my favourite Konami game. But maybe better than some similar games. I think the chat has decided it's a duel anyway. I don't know who did the music. You'd probably have to look that up if it's got credits, Mess Driver. But it's entirely possible. I mean, it's Konami. Anyway, so we're putting that one in duel, I think, aren't we? Yeah, I'd say it's average for me, but I think we've got more duels there in the chat, which is what counts here. So Cosmic Cop and Crazy Cop go up there in the duels list. So there we go. You see, that's up there next to Cosmic Cop in the duels. Okay. Time for something a bit different. And heaven help me play this one. This is for the NES, and this is Street Cop. Now this is one of the games that uses the power pad, which is a foot mat type thing that you jump on. So naturally the controls don't translate especially well to emulation. But, you know, I found a mapping that seems to let me at least complete the first level. So why don't we just go with that? Now you've got to hunt down 3 criminals and then the boss. You've got your little mini map that shows where everybody is, where you are. And the controls haven't saved, have they? No, they have not. Okay, hold on a second while I try and work out some controls for this. So F is up. G and H are your left and right. J's down. The up and down swap, unfortunately, at times. B is change direction. N is also change direction, so we don't need to map it. Or maybe we do. Yeah, let's map that to S. Anyway, let's try and play it then. So the enemy is over that way, come to the map, so we have to change direction. And it's this guy here, I think. Yep. Nope. Let's run away. Now you can jump by holding the button down. I guess you'd be running on the pad and whatever else. This guy here, isn't it? Oh, he hit me. But yeah, to me, I kind of like this in the sense that it's very different. It's not a game you'd expect for a sort of, you know, foot pad control. No, I don't think that's the right guy. I think I'm just beating up an innocent person there. He's probably hiding in here. Yeah, there you go. Sometimes they hide behind these things. Now we've got this guy to chase down. There you go. That's the actual stage boss, Mr. My Head's on Backwards. There we go. You got this bundle, did you, Mesh Drivers? I definitely didn't have a power pad back in the day. I only had a NES for a short time, hardly any games. But Power Soul Stars was one of the main games I had. So now the map is more complex, which means I no longer know how to play the game. I'm assuming one of the buttons changes you around the corner. But which one? Apparently that did the trick. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have to work out these controls, unfortunately. How do you go around the corner? This shouldn't be so tricky, but unfortunately, without the original controls, it's very difficult to know what I'm meant to be pressing to a corner. I don't know. Let's just assume I don't know and try and play it anyway. Got you. Yeah, now. I would have thought you just press up, but you don't just press up. Yeah, the power pad had 12 buttons, 3 lines of 4. You're glad you're watching somebody else play this. See, I think with original controls, this would be a pretty good game. But trying to play it when you're not even sure what you're meant to be pressing at any given point is kind of infuriating. Because I know there should be a key that lets me go up there. Or a combination. I should probably have read the manual, shouldn't I? So D is that, A is that. Q doesn't do anything. T doesn't do anything. Y doesn't do anything. Oh, I'm still in the wrong place. No, it doesn't do anything. So how do I get up there? I don't know. Literally, I went around the corner a minute ago and then don't know what I pressed. And now I'm stuck here. So, yeah, unfortunately, this is probably as much of this game as I can show you. If you like a running, jumping policeman, there you go. Anyway, I think we're going to have to move on from that one. I wanted to demonstrate it a bit better. You think it's junk, Extreme Wreck? See, I don't think it's junk. I think it's average. Simply because it's a mat game that's trying to do something a bit different. But Lord Darley thinks it's junk. Extreme Wreck thinks it's junk. Yeah, 8 on one side, 12 on the other. And in MAME you can flip it over with the configuration thing. Yeah, maybe if I remap the controls a bit better, I'd do better at that one. But I only played it briefly and completed the first level and thought, the next level will be okay. And then I saw the second level map and it's like got corners. It's like, we can't just run around the corners. Franco thinks average. SB junk. Bob average. Mesh Driver's average. I think we're split on average and junk on this one. Evening Custado. You think the controller's junk, the game looks fine. Average. Aussie guy, okay, average. I think averages are winning it on this one. I think if I was to be able to demonstrate the game a bit better, might be able to give a better impression. But it's one I might come back to on another stream if I work it out to play the second level. The power pad looked interesting. I don't quite get why they felt the need to have a two-sided thing just with like 4 less buttons on one side, because the layout's the same other than the missing buttons. It seems a bit redundant. Average junk. I'll put it in average. Street Cut NES. I did want to try and demonstrate it because it's a little bit different in terms of the controls, but yeah, it's unless I can find a better way to play it, it's probably stuck in. Oh, I put it in junk. No, wrong place. I'm saying it's average and I put it in junk. I'm subconsciously judging it. So, unfortunately, my pen is running out. Hold on. Yeah, that's the old CD. Oh, the power glove is lovely. And that robot thing somebody mentioned earlier. So, there we go. Street Cut NES goes into average with round up 5. And a black line appears under junk, which we'll pretend isn't there because that was my mistake. Right. Okay. Let's have a look at this one. This is Judge Dredd on PlayStation type hardware. Judge Dredd Arcade by Acclaim. And Gremlin Interactive. Not your typical arcade game developers. The problem then be yeah. So, you see, we have some law enforcement going on here. Maybe even the future of law enforcement. But yeah, this is a kind of FMV game, isn't it? It's an FMV on rails shooter. Yeah, there's a whole box of new pens. Hence why there's more colours on the preview card for the stream. So yeah, there are 2 Judge Dredd arcade games. There's this one and the unreleased prototype from Midway. This one is a gun shooter.
How many hostages do I have to kill before you satisfy my demands? I want Dredd. Dear Dredd.
Yeah, let's skip over the cutscenes because, for all I know, the cutscenes may get me copyright matches. So let's just try and go with the FMV of the game, which is not going to be straight from the movie. So now this is one of the CHD games in MAME. So it got a bit of a sort of Area 51 feel to it, hasn't it? Oops. Game where you use the keyboard. You're talking like Typing of the Dead and things like that. Oh, don't shoot the innocents. Okay. I hope the flashing's not too bad for anybody here. It's only on the occasional gunshot. So, oh, I shot the innocent again. I'm very good at doing that in these games. Yeah, you can shoot the TV monitors there too. Shoot out the monitors. I don't know if there's a bonus for doing that. Yeah, it's on PlayStation hardware. I don't think it's really the best use of PlayStation hardware because as far as I know it is just FMV with a few 3D bits overlaid, but I suppose it's better than really badly digitized sprites or something like that. Yeah, this is an arcade game on PlayStation hardware, Franco. Published in Japan by Capcom. I don't think there's a Japanese set dumped. I don't know if it'd be any different or if it'd just be the same, but I'd imagine Capcom would want their name on the intro. So we have completed that level. Level 1, 2. Oh, they are innocents, are they? I think, yeah, continue. Okay, we'll continue. I am the law. Went boom. To be fair, this is kind of the formula a lot of newer arcade games go for, just on rails like gun shooters, although most of the modern ones aren't pre-rendered, they're rendered in engine, which is even cheaper to do, I guess. You know, just take some assets from a popular game and create an on-rails shooter with them. I've said before, I'm surprised we don't have a GTA version of this, you know, like some of the on-rails missions from GTA, just without you driving, just the shooting part. Because I'm sure that would do well in an arcade. But maybe Rockstar don't want to license out GTA for anything like that. I don't know. Yeah, there's there's the 2 elevator action games. I think the new one's got the sliding door just like the previous one. The new one's got aliens though instead of real humans, hasn't it? Which looks a bit odd. Yeah, Death Elevator I think's the older one, and there's a newer one too. I remember the one with the sliding doors. People kept trying to jam things in the sliding doors though, because that's how mature we are over here. Again, this if you had a second player, you could play this co-op. And my aiming is awful. Don't know if you've even got bombs in this. Oh yeah, I do have bombs. Just makes the screen go slightly white. Shoot the turrets. Get some explosions, shoot you. It's pretty well done, yeah. It looks fair. It looks somewhat seamless. So it does give the illusion that the hardware is more capable than it is in terms of rendering 3D scenes. But obviously, you have no control of the camera. It just goes where it wants to go. It's an effective trick for games with a limited scope like this one. It's not always obvious which parts are destructible because it's that seamless in terms of the enemy integration. You do get the idea once you're on the continue screen because it hides the enemies and anything you can kill. It's not the worst renderings in the world. Fairly good models for the backgrounds for the time it was released. Oh, I'm not very good at telling who is innocent and who is guilty. Death Parade, that's the one, yeah. But there is a newer one than Death Parade that I think came out last year or this year. You have to give this a go with your Sinden gun. How is your Sinden gun doing, Costado? Justice is served.
Dredd, we gotta fix on our perp. Royston Bean.
Yeah, again, I'm going to skip over the just FMV that's like that. Best gun you have on the PC. That's good to hear. About time the PC had some good guns. Now, I'm not going to play too much of this because it's probably not the most entertaining thing to watch. So, where do people feel on this one? I mean, to me, this is kind of average. It's well done for what it is, but I don't think it's up there with the best of the games, and it's very limited scope. I think it looks better than I would have expected it to. It's just kind of... there's not much to it. Duel with a gun. Average Lord Dalek. Okay. Aussie guy average. Yeah, it's my general feeling is it's a cheapo light gun game. It does look quite nice. But it's not gripping me. Then again, these games tend not to grip me, even the better ones. So maybe I'm not the best one to make a call on this. Wolfaz is going dual SB average. R09 average. Mesh drivers average. Anybody but Acclaim could have done better. The Ogre average. Average. Lots of averages. So I think it's going to get an overall average. So yeah. Let's enter my name. Nope. Oh, whatever. I slipped. I'm highs. Yeah, there's obviously more stages. But yeah, Judge Dredd light gun game then, I believe, goes into average. Recoil version adds a lot. I'd imagine so. You do want recoil on guns, Costado. So Judge Dredd light gun game goes into average, and that's absolutely fine. We didn't get many averages last time. So there we go. The Judge Dredd light gun game goes into average. 08. Let's go with something a bit different. Not so much a police game, but the main character does work for the police. This is when it boots. Mappy. There you go. Your police mouse with the police baton making a little cat cry. Now this is the PC 8801 port of the game by Dempa, which is one of the Japanese computers, because, you know, I do like to mix it up a little bit here. So, why am I pressing 5 to insert a coin? You don't insert a coin on this version. So yeah, the graphics are a little bit rough on this version compared to the arcade, it has to be said. It seems to move kind of in tiles. But it is mappy. It's very much mappy. And I'm sure... I mean, I don't mind if you judge Mappy just as a game. I'm not asking you specifically to judge the port in this case. Although you can judge the port if you want. Now, I'm guessing the PC-88 isn't the most capable of machines. It looks like it doesn't have any kind of sprites of its own, so that's probably why everything's moving like in tiles. Yeah. I might look at another port of it after this, actually. Because looking at ports can be quite interesting. But yeah, this one, to me, in terms of playability, it holds up. So I think if you like the arcade game, and you consider the limitations of the platform here, you're going to give it the same score. It plays well. It plays like you'd expect it to play. Just slightly less smooth movement than some versions. The music's even well done. Uh-oh. Oh, phew. That was close. Can't go that way. There we go. Yeah, Dempa did a lot of ports of arcade games, didn't they? To generally quite weak hardware. I guess they were sort of the equivalent of the companies that did it over here in the UK. They were just the go-to people for arcade ports. Oh, well, that's how you fail a bonus round. Limited but super popular. Was it a bit like, you know, the Spectrum here? That was limited but really popular, so they got lots of games that weren't always suited to the hardware, but were still there. And still worth playing. I don't think our home computers got many Mappy ports, which is surprising, because you would have thought it would be, you know, one of those perfect to port games. But maybe Mappy just wasn't super popular here. I definitely don't remember seeing Mappy back in the day. You're expecting the MZ700 version. That's not even the version I'll probably be playing next if I have a look at another port. Although I don't know how it compares. Oh, I'm going to doubt that one. Yeah. That was silly. Now, obviously the trampolines end up forming a bit of a maze. Because you see, I can't go through the door there because that's on the edge and as well. So it's quite clever in that sense, the design of the game. Uh-oh, I've trapped myself. Once you get past the first level, you start to have to actually plan your route around because you can't just walk anywhere. You have to, you can only open doors from certain sides. Yeah, I'm assuming, you know, you're the micro police, and they're the bad guys. The Mew Kitties. Onto the story. There's not much story, is there? Now, I know Mappy is one of Aaron's favourite games. I also know BBH absolutely hates Mappy. I don't know why BBH hates Mappy, because I think it's pretty good, but, you know, everybody is allowed to dislike certain games. I was tempted to play the plug and play version on the Nostalgia Pack, Namco Nostalgia, with the Breakout game, but I think I've shown that one before. That's a pretty good port too. I've not played Mappy Land, Lord Dalek. I don't think there's going to be scrolling on this hardware based on the games I've seen. It does seem to be kind of tile based with no scrolling. Now, since we're going to be looking at another version of Mappy 2, I'll ask people at this point, where do we want to put this? Would you say this was a duel? I mean, I think it is. I think the original game is. I think this port is. Now, one thing about Mappy is you can open the door from quite far away. It's like, you know, I know I know the door, but I can press open door. It's like, door opens. Dual solid port. Yeah, I didn't see Mappy soft listed in the MZ700 mesh drives either. I was looking at ports that were soft listed, and I did look at the MZ700. There are a lot of ports of Mappy that are listed in other places that just aren't in the MAME soft list. I don't know if some of them aren't dumped, but this one was dumped, and another one was dumped as well, which I'll be looking at shortly. So I'm going to play the rest of this, I say credit. It's an arcade game, really, isn't it? Now, unfortunately, there is an emulation issue with the one I'm going to look at next, which is a little bit annoying. But we'll work with it. Oh. Any version? I think everybody's going with Jewel and Gem, aren't they? Yeah, so I think that's unanimous with this one. So we will be looking at one more version of Mappy. Right, I think I may as well just end it all here with Mappy. Let's find a mouse to no, a cat. So you get me. I am the mouse. There we go. I've not played the Donkey Kong 3 sequel on the PC-88. No, Wolf has. I might have seen pictures of it, but I've not played it. I might have done a different stream. Let me note it down. No, I'm quitting out of this. Oh, Donkey Kong 3 sequel on the PC-88, a recent home. An Atari 2600 port of this. Okay, I'll have to have a look at both of those at some point. I'm going to note them down in my file, and hopefully I remember to look at it later. So let me save off those. Anyway, so that was that's definitely going to be a Jewel, isn't it? So Mappy PC-88. Okay, so yep, that has gone up there with the jewels. Mappy on the PC-88. Right, we're not going to spend too long on the next one because it is once again just Mappy. Unfortunately, it's also got loading times, hasn't it? There is a disc version of this, but, you know, why am I in the wrong mode? Okay. It was in a kanji mode, wasn't it? Alright, tape loading. Speed through this. Indeed, FM7 time. I don't know why the tapes are so noisy like this, but I guess that's just... I'm used to hearing sounds from sort of, you know, the Spectrum and CPC, so loading these Japanese tapes sometimes sounds a bit odd in comparison. At the 2600 port link, Stephen. I'll have to look at that after the stream is over. Yeah, lots of modern machines have ARM processors and things, and it does detract a little bit from what they are because the ARM is doing most of the work. Sometimes the ARM just emulates mappers, but then you get things that can call out native ARM code. I think I think there are 2600 carts like that, and they're a bit of a pain to emulate because the ARM itself is sitting there watching the bus. It's a really fast ARM, and it interprets every single bus access, and so emulates the ROM in the ARM software, which means you have to emulate. If you want to try and emulate that, there's no ROM to emulate. The ROM is provided on the fly by the ARM processor. So to do it properly is a complete nightmare because you can't even get a disassembler listing because there's literally no code until the ARM sees that bus access and supplies the code. And that means it has to run in perfect sync with a really high clock ARM at a level that MAME doesn't even emulate the CPUs yet. So, yeah, those are a bit of a nightmare. And the ARM's usually got an internal ROM, which isn't always dumped. So, this is another version of Mappy. And I know I need the break key to play it. The controls are kind of awkward. Yeah, we don't want break to be escape. We can have break as numpad 0. And we can unmap numpad 0 there. Okay. Where's Prestream in MAME? I don't know what Prestream is, Bob. I've probably not been paying attention. Now this tells you the keys are 4 and 6, but you do also need 8 and 2, otherwise you don't jump any height at all, which is kind of odd, but I don't know, maybe the controls are not hooked up properly. So this is Mappy on an even more limited computer. Pardon me. Is this similar to that MZ700 version? Yeah, you seem to automatically move at times in this, which is really, the controls are really bad. And the music does hang there. This is unfortunately seemingly a MAME emulation bug. There are videos of this where the music doesn't hang, and I'm guessing they're not from MAME. So yeah, apologies for the kind of obnoxious music for a second there. Now, I did look into the driver to see if I could work out why the music hangs, and I'm not really sure. I mean, it's a simple AY sound chip. Yeah, this is kind of jank, and if you press the open door button, you have to let go of the direction as well. I don't know if the keyboard hookup's just a bit bad in the driver, or if that's just how this one controls. Either is possible. But yeah, the music isn't meant to hang. That is definitely an emulation bug, unless it does the same on both the tape and disc version. So I don't think it's a dump problem either. I don't think it's like the cassette's bad. I think it's legitimately an emulation bug. But aside from the AY hookup using a latch, it doesn't even look that complex. So I'm not sure where the error is coming from. I mean, the AY hookup does look slightly dodgy because it... But... I don't know. It's confusing. Unless there's an older version of MAME where this doesn't happen. I mean, I've not tested that. I'd quite like the video art to be emulated. I mean, unfortunately, when there was one for about $30, I didn't have any funds to pick it up with. So I wanted to get one sent to Sean, and there was one about $30 about a year ago, but I didn't pick it up at the time, and I've not seen one at a decent price since. Also, we don't know if Sean will be able to dump it. You know, that would have just been a speculative one to send to him. But yeah, I'd quite like to see the video art emulated, because it's just one of those incredibly bad things. And there you go. Same place. It's always the same place in the music. I mean, it might not be the most difficult one to, you know, track down in the code and try and find out why it's broken. Before the music ends. Is the music going to end or is the music going to hang? This is the question. Oh, that's bad. Music played. My earnings, because balloons are worth a lot of money. I guess people realised they had them and wanted to sell them, but unfortunately when that happens, people often try and sell them for far too much money because they think, oh, they're suddenly a famous system, when really they are junk. But yeah, the $30 price seemed about reasonable, probably about what I'd expect to actually pay for something like a video art. But haven't seen one since. Hey Edson, welcome. Hope you're doing well. So anyway, so that was a bonus Mappy game. where do you want to rate the FM7 version of Mappy? Keeping in mind that it shouldn't have the music hang. Is it still a dual, or is that one sort of more down in the average? Because that was a lot jankier than the other version. You like this version better than the last port, SB? Interesting. The MZ700 version is faster. I'll have to have a look at that one in the future if it gets soft listed, David. You think that one's junk? You think that one's average? You think that one's dual? Average? 2 averages are dual. FM7 version is average. 3 averages are dual and a junk. Looks like junk. 2 junks, dual with proper emulation. I think we're split on this one. I think it's going to end up in average. You rate it the same as the other Mappy. So dual. We've got some duals, some junks, some averages. I think we're about even on them. Yeah, it'd be nice to have some of those obscure things emulated. I mean, people need to pick them up and send them to people like Sean to analyse them and see if we can emulate them. There's a lot of things out there that so far nobody's picked up or nobody's analysed, or if they have analysed them, nobody's dumped the internal ROMs out of them. There's a lot of work to be done. So I think this one goes in average. I kind of thought it would. But say there are some duals, there are some junks, but it seems to be split down the middle. So but it's nice to look at different ports from time to time, and I thought, why not do that? Because if I just played the things everybody has seen, this would be quite a boring stream, I feel. So I don't like to do that. Okay, be better play another one of the ones that is up on my preview image, because we are 2 hours and 2 minutes into the stream. Oh, where's the tally? What's the tally? Well, we have the Destroyer from Jail, Cosmic Cop and Crazy Cop and Mappy PC88 in duels. We just have junk as the Rockstar guitar for now. And in average, we have Roundup 5, Street Cop, Judge Dredd Light Gun Shooter, and the FM7 version of Mappy. No Chambara fix on this stream because it doesn't really tie in with the theme, Bob. But I might do another video for that at another time, or feature on the next episode. Future Cop LAPD. Don't have Future Cop. At least not in my list of things to look at. What I will be doing is Narc. So this is kind of similar to the Destroyer from Jail, but from Midway. I saw... No, that was on the NES, wasn't it? No, I don't think I have the Ogre. No, I don't think I have. I saw some NES hack where you play as the princess and it's a complete conversion with an entirely new game, which was kind of funky. So, come on. Yeah, this has got lots and lots of ROMs. It's a huge ROM board. Every one of those things that just lit up there is a ROM on the board. Now, I like the presentation on this one. I love this spray can effect on the high score table. Crackdown does similar in the intro with the Crackdown logo, but here it's the whole high score table, and it's really nice looking. Now, in terms of trivia, an early / prototype set of this was dumped last year. Was it earlier this year? Which has entire levels missing. So if you want a slightly different Narc experience than the one you've had before, definitely give that a try. I'm not playing that version now. I'm just playing the standard latest set. Yeah, it looks like graffiti, David. That's the idea. It's meant to be spray can graffiti. You know, that whole criminal theme going on. Although, well done graffiti is actually quite nice. It's just when people do ugly tags, it makes it look horrible. But there's some really good artists out there actually doing graffiti. But yeah, obviously this is walk along, shoot the bad guys, belt scrolling game. It's got that Smash TV feel to it where you're picking up all sorts of things that get left on the floor. But then you'd kind of expect that being a, you know, a midway game from this period. No, it's not really hardcore criminals, but it's the petty criminals, isn't it? That tag everything. So I don't mind a good piece of art on an abandoned building or something like that. But yeah, if you're just going to write your name on something, it looks a bit bad. If you compare it to ROM hacks, you know, people doing really creative hacks are like the talented ones, whereas people who just hack a title screen or hack their name onto where the copyright was, not so much. Or, you know, change your colour for no reason. Here is Green Sonic. Wow. Lots of adverts for home ports. I'm assuming you mean there were in the magazines, not there are in the game. You do have a jump button too, and a missile. Just for that. That's one thing with these games, these midway games. You do tend to get quite a bit of debris in places. Lots of things flying around. They're very busy. Maybe a bit too busy at times, but being busy makes them better coin munchers because it's much easier to kill you off. Insert red save card. Not coin. Can't insert a coin there. I guess is the final boss really one of the absolute worst credit munchers, main fan? Is that what you're saying?
Roger, Chief.
They went mad marketing it. Yeah, it's got that 90s attitude, hasn't it? I can't remember any of the home ports being especially good, to be honest. Maybe that's why they advertise them so heavily. Let's shoot the very pink people. It's not as 90s as Beathead was. I mean, we'll say that much, Aussie guy. Beathead was absolutely as 90s as you can get. Checks cashed, money laundering, food stamps, award, something nice. I don't know, because they were. It's also very obviously American. This is definitely not a Japanese game. There's nothing Japanese about this in the slightest. I'm being attacked by dogs. You can crouch to shoot the dogs. That's another button. Crouch is a button, so if you want to shoot the dogs, you do have to crouch, which is a different mechanic. Not many beat-em-ups have a crouch button for low attacks. I call it a beat-em-up. It's more of a shooter, but it's a beat-em-up with guns, isn't it? That's what belt shooters really are. Beat-em-ups with guns, where the gun is always attached to you rather than being just a pick-up you get now and again. The dogs don't die, they just get smaller, which is exactly what happens when you shoot a dog. It's also, incidentally, what happens when you crash into a cow.
We're on our way.
Yeah. Narc is one of those games, at least to me, that tries to be ridiculously over the top, but just falls a bit flat. You can get in the car, can't you? I seem to remember. Hey look, I can float. There we go. Yes, you can get into the car after floating above it. I mean, that car looks so out of place. It's almost, we're back to Wheels on Fire. X multiplies a knockoff of R-Type. It is a bit R-Type, isn't it, Mitchell? Yeah, I think this one's also average. Play a little bit more. But personally, I think Destroyer from Jail does the ridiculous thing a bit better than this does. This has got maybe a bit more variety with that car thing. Oh, there we go. I didn't float into it this time. I actually got into it. Now we're running over dogs. You like the running over people bit. There's lots of these cars on this road. Shall we reverse into these clown-like people with knives? Maybe we'll drive a bit more carefully. Oh. Move out the way. Out the way. There we go. Careful driving simulator. Careful driving simulator. I'm failing at careful driving simulator. I want to get back in. It's not going to let me, is it? Oh, maybe it is. I don't want to get out of the car. Stop. I'm happy with my car. Thank you. I'm guessing I'm meant to kill the helicopter, aren't I? Oh no. Why are all these bins in the middle of the road? I mean, I don't know. I don't even like the graphics that much, Wolfaz, but the graphics just feel all pasted on. Nothing feels coherent or well gelled together. I mean, it's a nice resolution, there's nice detail, but they're not that pretty. Let's walk along, let's kill a few more people. Yes, war on drugs. This game is definitely the game that should be most associated with winners don't use drugs. I'm not even sure it has a winners don't use drugs screen, actually. Did this predate them having winners don't use drugs screens, or did Midway just never bother with that? Anyway, here we go. After all that... That level went on for far too long. This one has one. Ah. That kind of makes sense. See? Let's reset it. Is it enabled by default? Let's speed through. Some of these you do have to turn on in service mode. Let's see what Narc's winners don't use drug screeners. No one had the guts until now. First game with the FBI screen. Oh yeah, there you go. That's a very different screen. It's not your standard screen. Very briefly appeared. I was probably speeding through it, unfortunately. But yeah, so this was the first game with an FBI screen. Ah, kind of makes sense, I guess. So where are we putting this one? I saw a lot of averages in the chat earlier. And it's kind of average to me. So we're going to get the logo next. Above average for Aussie guy. No, it's... I wanted the screen again. Come on. Eugene's, yeah. References to the developers. There we go. Winners don't use drugs. Very different logo with a big FBI letters. Average, above average. Dual for graphics, sound effects. Average for gameplay. Not like the other games of 1988. No, it is not. I mean, we've got an average from Lord Dalek. Yeah, average again. Average from Custado. Meh, it deserves its own category. Okay, I'm going to put this in average because that seems to be the consensus. We're getting a lot more averages this time. Yeah, I mean, some of them, they do all go for that over-the-top one. We looked at, what it was, Strike Zone before, which was really over-the-top Defender-like thing. But there you go. Narc is an average meh. Or average plus meh. I'm going to have to put a plus on that as well now. Average meh plus. This is starting to look like a silly chart. It is now an average meh plus. Anyway. Where next? Well, again, I should get the one from the preview image that is remaining out of the way, even though I have no idea how to play it. So this could be a total failure because I forgot to try and play this one before the stream. I'm assuming it uses a mouse. Uses a light gun and 3 buttons. Okay. This is Under Fire from Taito. The sound's going to be quite low. Sound test. Sound volume. Why is there such a huge difference between the... I didn't say good. 30 to 33F is a massive difference. Select. Navigating these service modes can be tricky at times. There we go, that should have saved it. Is this a Steven Seagal game? I do not believe so, Bob. We've got race drive and Saturn levels of pop in there for the buildings, but this isn't 3D hardware, so I'll forgive it. It's one of those games with a very washed out palette. Don't know if that's an emulation thing or if it's just how it was. Oversized, digitized graphics. Now some good looking graphics. Bit inconsistent. But yes, these are your heroes. These are the special police. It's also quite 90s, isn't it?
Under fire.
But 93. Under
fire.
Let's insert a coin.
Yes, sir. Go.
Press start.
The gang's shown up at the amusement park. Get over there right away.
Apparently you don't shoot clowns.
Change magazine. Change magazine.
Change magazine. Read a different one. Having people who look like civilians with guns is a bit mean. Oh well. They don't look that special, do they? Yeah, this likes to trick you. Somebody will look innocent and they'll pull a gun on you. You can kill, destroy plenty of the background. There we go. You can kill the other police. Yeah, it clearly wants to be Lethal Enforcers, doesn't it? Bad digitized graphics. There does seem to be a bit of lag between the different layers as it moves. I don't know if that's just how the game is. Let's shoot the giraffe. Oh dear. Looks like Chicago. Be careful, there might be somebody from the Chicago police watching who would be massively offended by that. Although probably not. I imagine the police officers of Chicago are not huge fans of my stream for any particular reason. Yes, it's definitely easier to shoot the criminals if I get the civilians out the way first. That is definitely my logic on all of these games. Oh look, we have a roller coaster, which I could see in the background before. See, if the criminals also shouted "Don't shoot," it would be easier, but they don't. In fact, that's probably the only way you can tell. So, am I on another roller coaster, or am I just floating next to a roller coaster? Also, where are all these people? Were they on the roller coaster before? How many people does the roller coaster hold? It's quite impressive, isn't it? Oh well. I must be on a. This must be a triple roller coaster with dueling trains, three-way. I don't know what three-way dueling trains are called. It's quite a nice little roller coaster scene. It's still kind of ugly. But yeah, it's a clown coaster. You are correct, Aussie guy. Oh dear. Also, there appears to be a slight health and safety issue. The health and safety issue is me. With this gun. Oh dear. 20-person wide clank. You've got a big gun. I can put holes in the popcorn stall. Oh dear. This boss has a lot of life, and also he likes to move the popcorn stall. You didn't know about this game and you're starting to see why. Yeah, I don't think it's Taito's most famous game. More like change game. I guess you're going to be ranking this one as junk then, Bob. It's definitely not Taito's prettiest game. It's not Taito's worst game that's like this. I mean, if you play Operation Wolf 3, this seems like a fantastic game after that. Also note some of the police officers in the foreground are literally just flipped. The police on the back is backwards. Oh well. I'm preemptively shooting turtles. Oh. You're going out in your room to say junk. Oh, there are people in the sewer, predictably. There's people climbing on lampposts. We'll play a little bit more of it. Actually, no, they have police on the backwards, on the backwards anyway. Is that just how the police dress? I've never noticed before. I think, unless I'm misreading it. Yeah, they have police backwards underneath police. I've never observed that before, but maybe I'm just not very observant. You thought the guy was a TV. Well, he did explode a bit like a TV. Maybe he was a TV. Oh, I can't destroy the train. Loses points for that. See, I kind of like the roller coaster bit, but other than that, I kind of like that you can blow holes in things, but a bit pointless. Right. I wonder if I put cheat on to stay forever here, if I could just erase the entire van. I'm not that bored though. In case people see the police in the moment. That might be true actually, like the ambulance signs. I've never observed it before. Maybe it's just how police dress and I've just never studied police that much. I'm going to have to look that up now if that's a proper thing that actual police officers do. I can't say I've had that many run-ins with the police. Wikipedia says Taito's American branch was in Northern Illinois, which is why it looks like Chicago. Yeah, this does feel like kind of an American game, so maybe the American branch had quite a lot to do with this one. Crazy C. Anyway, yeah, I think we've seen enough of that. Where's it going, guys? Guys and girls, where's it going? I'm thinking I may as well just write it straight in junk because it doesn't have that much going for it, to be honest. Aged badly. Yeah, I think it might have been average at the time. You prefer Taito's Japanese branch? Yeah, I think most of us do. Or their Brazilian branch, SB. No, maybe we don't prefer the Brazilian branch. Although the Brazilian branch did give us some pretty good jank. Bonus +1 because it's a light gun game. Are you going to try that with your Sinden Guns too, Costado? Average junk. Got a junk and an average. Saying junk myself. Anybody else? Or this one's going in junk. Alright, I think this one is going in junk. RO9 is a junk, yeah, I don't think there's going to be too much disagreement. Okay, so Under Fire ends up in junk. Nice new writing pad as well. I got them just for these streams because well, I ran out of paper. You want to play it with a real gun. One shot to end the gun. Is that like the Must Shoot TV game that was dumped recently, which does make you just want to shoot the TV? Anyhow, yeah, the viewers is bouncing up all over the place on YouTube at the moment. I don't really know what's going on. Yeah, probably Bob. Although you'd be seeing the back of the police in your rear view mirrors. Yeah, probably like ambulances. No expense spared. Right, where are we going next? So I've done the ones that are in the preview image. You know what we did earlier? You know the really enjoyable segment. Let's go back there. Let's load up Guitar Fever. Now this one seems to have a few more sync problems in MAME, although I've modified it to work in NTSC because it seems to sync better. I don't know if the PAL version just doesn't sync on real hardware, but we'll see. So, is everyone going to sing along in the chat? Again, it's got a license screen, so it's probably licensed. Now, Ashens did a great video on this one. And you know what Ashens thought of this? He didn't think it was especially good. He said it was well built, I believe. But yeah, the music here is really, really weak. And this is why I kind of like the other one. Also, the scaling effect on this is not linear. It moves... The way they scale is really off-putting. Also, the whammy thing just destroys the music. It's almost like punishing you for using it. Again, this might get muted on the after-stream YouTube matching it to a song. Although if it matches this to the proper song, that's impressive, because this sounds so little like the proper song. It would be, you know, it's a bit challenging to say it is the song. And I don't think anybody's going to be singing I Fought the Law and the Law Won. Oh, we have a €6.99 donation from Custado. Much appreciated, Custado, for the stationery expenses. Thank you. It's much appreciated. Thank you for supporting the stream. And yeah, I picked up the writing pad and the Sharpies to do the little logos and write out lists. So thank you. It does cover them, or help cover them. Indeed, Guitar Fever. This was distributed by ABL here. I've seen it in other boxes from other brands. The dump came from a French unit which had a different brand, but there's a secret test mode and it's got the same checksum in it. So it's the same product in different regions, but yeah. I Fought the Law and the sound emulation, which is actually okay, but the sound itself defeated me, or won, as they would say. Yeah, ABL are mostly a distributor, but the UK box is ABL branded. It is a plug and play, David. It is a plug and play. And no, it was meant to be, you know, I Fought the Law and the Law Won, and there were hints of the song in the background, but it's a really bad rendition. And that's why, even though we put Rockstar Guitar in junk, that one to me is a different level of junk. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Bob. But I'm not even going to ask. That one goes in junk. That it just sounds terrible, and it doesn't sound much better, if any better at all, on real hardware. ZC Infinity's got a real hardware video with a bunch of the songs, and yeah, it's just bad. There we go. Guitar Fever goes into junk. That I said I don't think I need to ask, because it's far worse than Rockstar Guitar. Anyway. I'm glad they're emulated. I spent my own money buying the things and getting them sent to Sean to dump them. Or I think was it Team Europe or Peter that dumped that one? I can't remember, but yeah. They're emulated and preserved, and I don't think we need to speak of them again. Don't turn off. Right. Bit different. PlayStation time. And this game literally requires me to insert the original game disc after this disc. Because it's like, yeah, please insert the Grand Theft Auto disc. File manager, CD-ROM, software list. Whatever. Yeah, GTA. There we go. And press X. Insert the GTA London disc. The software list. There we go. So I'm sure everybody is familiar with Grand Theft Auto. Doesn't really need much introduction. This is the PlayStation 1 port of the GTA 1 mission pack, which was set in London, which is one of the few times we've had a real city with the real city's name. It's kind of a shame they only did like the London ones, because I was hoping they'd go all around the place and, you know, we'd get GTA Dublin and all sorts of like, but we got GTA London. And it's not one I played much back in the day. I did play the original GTA 1 a fair bit on the PC. But yeah, let's go around and find where we're meant to go. So we're in northeast Chelsea, and we've got to answer the phone. Now this is full of British stereotypes and kind of bad frame rates, because GTA 1 wasn't the fastest game in the world. It's also got police. And you know what? Instead of actually playing the game, I'm just going to run people over and hope to get their attention. But it's actually surprisingly difficult to get the police's attention early on. We've got a police. Oh, there's a police car. That's better. I've got the police car. Now it fits the stream. Police cars are fast. I want to run more people over. No, yes, if you're playing GTA, you are meant to play the missions, you're meant to do the missions, you're meant to do what it says. Oh, I didn't want to get out of the car. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to run people over. Cause some chaos. But yeah, this is full of British accents as well. You know, these oi is a very typical British oi. Oh. Oh. Let's see if I can run those guys over. Oh, I've got 3 wanted level now. Oh, missed. Missed the last one. I've got 4 wanted stars now. So, what does everybody think of the older original GTA games? I mean, I think they're kind of iconic. Maybe, I mean, they don't have a map, so you really have to use the physical maps to find your way around, at least on the ones with the more complex maps. The map, everything's very block-based, so it suits American cities probably better than UK cities, where we really don't have this neat road layout so much. But I would have expected a few more police to be after me, but I think it's because it's early on in the game, it doesn't really send that many, does it? There's a major incident. Don't have any guns yet. At least as far as I know. Yeah, I don't have any. Probably because I've not done any missions, I don't really get much of the game yet, but I don't want to get in the car. I've got my punch. Let's go and punch you in the face. It wouldn't be London without some people getting punched in the face, would it? They are groundbreaking games. I mean, obviously, it looks really rough now. And if you consider it isn't a 2D game, but it's a game with very 2D gameplay on a PlayStation. So even that was a bit different at the time. It's overhead with 3D elements. But it managed to spawn, obviously, a highly successful service. The old ones are a lot of fun. I mean, they have lives and the like. So if you're expecting to play it like you play a new GTA game where you you can die as often as you want, you have to be a bit more careful. At least the first one. I think this one's the same. I mean, I think I got to the second map on the original GTA and never got much further. I don't want to drive in the water because that's bad. Look, you're brown bread. Because it's got Cockney rhyming slang because it's GTA London. And it'll go, you're nicked if you get nicked. It's got a good variety of cars as well for this version. Based on some of them classic British cars. So it's kind of well themed. There's a very British looking one with a Union Jack painted on it somewhere. But not in this area, the city. But yeah, all the cars have their own unique feel and handling to them. And there's a lot to do. It's an open world game, just like the others. So you can find missions. That's the thing. There's, in some ways, the original GTA games have more going on in terms of, you find a parked car somewhere and it will suddenly give you a mission, and I don't know. There is an appeal to them. Obviously, I'm not actually playing it properly, and I should really follow the arrow and go and do what the missions tell me to. So let's actually follow the arrow and see where we get to. But keep in mind, this is basically back in the day DLC. It was a mission pack disc, which is why you needed the original GTA to run it. It's not as big a game as the original GTA. I think that's a bit cheeky, really, because I guess they got away with selling it a bit cheaper because you needed the original disc. But they could have just put it as a standalone budget release, really, couldn't they? My driving is as bad as my driving in Final Lap. And, yeah. I've gone far, far away from where I was meant to have gone. So, yeah, I've got to nick that bike, I think. So if we just do that. I might look at one of those games. They're more gangster games, aren't they? So yeah, take it to there. So you've got your bikes. I seem to remember that's one thing GTA 3 lacked after these. There's your British car, Union Jack. I don't think GTA 3 had bikes, did it? Which is one of the things that people really liked when they got added back in, was it Vice City? This bike's slow. So yeah, we're taken to the lock-up garage. Oh dear. Oh, the police. In fact, let's just see. There we go. You see, you're nicked. There you go. You get your criminal record. Anyway, I think we've seen GTA London. Those lessons are helping. Yeah, absolutely, definitely. That's absolutely what. No. I think I'm always going to crash the ogre. Always going to crash. So, where do we rate GTA London? The zoom level depends on the speed to keep it on the screen. Oh, 2 hours later you realise there's a sub-theme. There is a police, cops, criminals sub-theme. It does sound like people making fun of British accents, but we make fun of our own accents too, so you can't really tell the difference. You think it's average, Steve? You think it's okay, Aussie guy? Alright. That's 2 average votes then. Bob thinks it's a duel. See, I think it's a duel too. I do have a soft spot for those old GTA games. And yeah, again, there's lots of things that might get this stream muted in the catch-up. And the soundtrack on that game is probably another one of them. Time period duel, yeah. So we're either going to be average or dual on this one, I think. At the moment, we've got 3 duals, including mine. Governor, just your boss, I think. Or, I don't know, I'm not from London. I don't get all the London slang. It's better on the PC. Yeah, it's better on the PC. We've got another average. We've got more averages now. Okay, well, the averages are now winning. It's definitely better on the PC, but the PC version doesn't run in MAME. Okay. I think we've got another average. This average list is getting big. But, okay. The chat has spoken, and GTA London goes in average. So, nice to do a PlayStation one though, wasn't it? Right. Next one, I'm not going to ask you to rank, because it doesn't work properly at all. It's one I wanted to cover, but... And when you say police themes, it's one of the first ones that comes to mind. But it's on the Amiga, and yeah, we've discussed MAME's Amiga emulation before, haven't we? Yeah, I don't think it'd run very well on a 486 the Ogre. So this is Pinball Illusions. And get off to quite a good start. It's rendered the clouds properly and it's loaded the game. Then we click the mouse. Hey cow, you're here. You've not missed any final lap. And now you start to see the emulation kind of falls apart. It's not meant to look like that. The music's still pretty good. Anyway, if we hit F1, it will tell me to insert disc 2 because despite apparently the Amiga emulation having... No, it's not got multiple drives, has it? So that's why. I don't know if this supports multiple drives. I think it may have supported 2. So... Something partially runs in the Amiga driver, an AGA game at that. Do cracked throws still exist? I think they do on keygens and stuff, cow, in sense of music. I'm not sure much about the intros. I guess the closest you get is the music on that type of thing. That's not a cracked throw, that's the actual intro for the game. This isn't a cracked version, this is the original disc. Yeah, I had this on the Amiga back in the day. Unfortunately, you kind of see the problem. The flippers are a little bit broken. Also, the high resolution mode is a little bit broken. I want to make sure that UI controls disabled. Right, so yeah, see, high resolution mode. That's the multi-ball mode. So if you get multi-ball, it'll turn to look like that. But anyway. Yeah, the flippers don't render properly, which kind of impacts the playability a little bit. This is, I mean, this game is an absolute gem, and if you're talking about police themes in games, this is one of the first ones that comes to mind because I spent so much time playing this table back in the day. But it is horribly, horribly broken in MAME. I mean, I'm amazed it runs at all, given how little on the Amiga driver does, but it's not really what you'd call properly playable, is it? So this is just a preview of, if there was something in the Amiga driver that could be fixed, and you want a game that boots where you could potentially fix it, maybe this one? I mean, at least it loads the game, and the sound's good. And I think Pinball Fantasies actually runs fine, so I was actually quite surprised when this didn't. I spent a long time playing this table, Thomas. I mean, Pinball Dreams got a port to the CPC. I'd love them to port this one just so that we get this table on the CPC. This is one of my favourite tables in any of the pinball games. I mean, you know where your flippers are, so you can still kind of play it, but it's a bit mess. Anyway, that was a bit of a diversion. So I'm not going to ask you to rate that one because it doesn't work well enough. And if you were to rate that one, I think you'd be saying it was dull. Personally, yeah, the music is very Batman, isn't it? In fact, that reminds me, I did say I'd look at Batman. Batman, Atari.
I'm Batman.
I'm not Batman. He's Batman. Overdrive doesn't even work on real hardware. It was nice playing Overdrive in the branch where it's fixed, the other stream. But yeah, that is a very messy game. Pardon me. So there are many good Batman games, many bad Batman games. I don't know where this one stands. It's got some quite nice animations. It's kind of Shinobi-like in the jump up, jump down, platformy gameplay. But it does get very tough very quickly. Good use of speech, good use of samples. And, you know, you can tell it's based on the movie from, you know, the samples they've used and some of the cutscenes. Now, one thing you get with quite a few Batman games are driving sections, and this is no exception. Which I don't know. You look at the Sega CD one; it's got a driving section. You look at some of the other Mega Drive ones. There's driving sections. This one's got a driving section. The Batman the movie game on the Spectrum's got a driving section. For some reason, you know, Batman games like to have driving sections. But yeah, the bug I fixed with the layer alignments means that, especially you notice in scenes like this, previously there were 2 pixel columns on the right hand side flashing bad colours, and the 2 pixels on, you know, 2 columns of the graphics on the right hand side were missing compared to real hardware videos. So I studied the videos and realigned them a little bit. So you get this up here. Find bat rope to go up a level. There we go. So it's sort of classic Batman platformy type game now. A bit like the actual Spectrum games, but you don't swing as much on the bat rope as far as I know. Yeah, it's I think Atari did variety here better than they did on, say, Thunder Jaws, where the 2 parts seem of greatly differing quality. For some reason, this doesn't seem to be a very famous game compared to the other Batman games. But maybe that's because it's kind of average. I don't know. Obviously, you get a lot of people talking about the really bad Batman games, like Batman Forever. Okay, I just jumped in acid because that's always clever. And you get people talking about the really good ones. The Sunsoft ones, for example. This one? Oh, I've got no bat rope, have I? This one kind of just seems to exist. Na 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 Batman. Exactly, Cal. Remember, Jack, you are my #1 guy. You played the C64 version. Are you talking about the movie one or the one that looks like a comic strip, Thomas? Because I really like the one that looks like a comic strip. I love what they did with that one. But the movie one was obviously a lot more popular.
Wait till they get a load of me.
Wait till you get a load of me. Say nice cutscenes, images from the movie. I'm assuming it's samples from the movie. You can tell it's a tie-in.
Daddy's going to make some art, darling.
Atari did like using their sort of quotes from movies. You saw it in the Empire Strikes Back game. And they used it quite well. They picked appropriate quotes. Also, I'm dying. I noticed this lets you insert 2 coins and have 7 lives. So basically, If you decide to insert 2 coins, you get an extra bonus life. So, you know, because usually 2 credits would be 6 lives. But if you commit to 2 credits at the start, you get 7 lives. Which again, I guess is Atari trying to be innovative with the credit scheme. Also, he's checkpointed. That is kind of surprising, checkpointing in an American game. But, I'm not sure if Thunder Jaws is the same engine, because Thunder Jaws plays a lot worse than this, and also Thunder Jaws is dual 68K. I don't think Atari reused the engine. I think it's just similar in some ways. I mean, it's as similar to Rolling Thunder and Shinobi as it is to Thunder Jaws. And one of the things I do like about this game is it has a good variety in the attract mode. The attract mode does show you most stages, or a lot of stages. I hate games where the attract mode just shows you like the demo of one stage. If it's even not in the attract mode, right? It's very cheap though. I do have one-hit deaths all over the place in this. Yeah, it might just be the same artist using the same templates, but I don't think it's the same code. Also, this animates a lot better than Thunder Jaws. Thunder Jaws has really rough animation, it's not smooth. Whereas this actually runs quite well. I say, I can't understand why Thunder Jaws runs so badly, considering it's got better hardware than this. Anyway, I don't want to play too much with Batman because I'd like to play Police Trainer at least before we end the stream. So, where do we put Batman? I mean, to me, it's yet another average one. We seem to have a lot of average ones today. But does anybody think, does it have Prince's Bat Dance? I don't know, Bob. Atari Games documentary. You think it's junk, Costado? I don't know when Police 911 will be in MAME, Cow. It's Konami, isn't it? I mean, Vil might take a look at it. I think it's Konami with a Voodoo card, Voodoo 3. Between Aaron looking at Voodoo and Vil looking at Konami, maybe Police 911 will happen. Doesn't do anything for you, Costado. The sound's top tier. Yeah, the sounds are good in it. Yeah, the Sunsoft Batman games are definitely better. The Ogre says junk. So, is that 2 junks? 2 averages. Bob's an average. Definitely not a duel then. We're between junk and average here. Sorry, junk. Oh, we've got main fan making duel. You like your Batman? Don't think Jaws are going to win this time though, main fan. Steven's an average. It looks like there's only one Batman, and that's Adam West's Batman. Reminds you of the Game Gear version. Interesting. I've not played the Game Gear version. It looks like we're mostly averages. So apparently this is not the dual or junk screen, but this is the average stream. The stream of averages. I like the PC Engine Batman as well, which is very different. I think I looked at that in a different stream. That's sort of an overhead maze game. So there are a lot of games I've not covered in the stream. Once again, I mean, I wanted to do Turbo Esprit on the CPC. In fact, I want to do a whole bunch of CPC games that I've not got around to. But and even Drive on the Game Boy. Game Boy Advance was going to look at. But I think we've only got time for one more game, which unfortunately means, yeah, there are a lot I've not managed to look at. But we're going with another shooter. Police Trainer, P&P Marketing. So this is sort of a virtual reality styled police training game, and this was hugely popular. I remember this one being in many places back in the day. So let's select easy. Let's select accuracy because So yeah, with the mouse it's easier, and I still fail. Now I do think this is a very stylish game. It captures that virtual reality training feel really well. Costado's got Sinden gun, so maybe Costado can tell you how this plays with a Sinden gun. Pass. I'd imagine it would play better with a more precise gun, though, yes. It is quite a test of accuracy, not necessarily with speed. Oh, no, don't shoot those ones. Yeah, it does have that slight Williams vibe. I think it's some of the smooth animations and the transitions are quite Williams, aren't they? So it works better with the Sinden, does it, Costado? Hit the matching target. So this is observation and shooting. Oh, wrong one. So didn't pass. No, get a little bell when you pass. Kind of similar to that must shoot TV. No, we've done judgment time. Hit the balls. Oh, I hate these ones. Yes. I can... No. Yeah, fail again. Continue. So this is the last game of the stream because we are over 3 hours now. And I would like to watch Big Clive stream to relax for my Saturday night, as I often do. So, what do people think of this one? To me, this is definitely a duel. I mean, it might not be the type of game I can play, but it perfectly executes what it was going for. You think it's junk, Stephen? Interesting. Main fan thinks it's a duel. So we've got a duel and a junk. And we've got my duel. We've got the Ogre's duel. Lord Dalek average. It's not your sort of game. Fair enough, Stephen. Fair enough. You do have your own taste. I mean, you know, you really like a super locomotion. And that's not everybody's type of game either. But I quite like what I played of that one. And obviously you liked your Pac-Man Plus, which a lot of people wouldn't. So, oh, Lethal Justice. I could have done Lethal Justice and got a bit of Kyle Hodgetts in, couldn't I? Never mind. I forgot about that one. But yeah, everybody has their own taste in games, and that's one of the things I really enjoy about the streams is hearing the different opinions. So, like I say, you really like your Pac Plus. It was interesting to hear that you can pattern it and your super locomotion. So it's all good. Not your type of game, which is fair enough. We've got another average of the Aussie guys' averages. Yeah, it's a shame I didn't do the Kyle Hodgetts. I might have to look at that on another stream because yeah, we can throw some of the ones. There's a huge list here. I've done about maybe a third, a quarter of the games I've noted down. Didn't even get to do proper Chase HQ. But 3 hours is 3 hours, and sometimes things don't fit. But yeah. Okay, so averages and joules. So 1, 2, 3. I think including mine, there's 4 joules. A junk. Another 4 or 5 joules. I think there's more joules than averages. The gun games have been average. Gun games are often that, I'd say. We've got Joule from Mess Drivers. Yeah, it's very to the point. It's very clear what you're meant to do and very stylish. I'd say it looks like a virtual reality training, which is the idea. And yeah, I'd say it was a very popular game. It always a queue to play it. So I'm going to put Police Trainer. I've got the useless pen out again. Police Trainer can go in joules. Which means that our joules for this stream have been the Destroyer from Jail, Cosmic Cop, Crazy Cop, Mappy on the PC-88 and Police Trainer. Junk, we've got the 2 guitar plug and plays, although, yeah, I think maybe some people would have moved the Rockstar one to average after seeing Guitar Fever, and Under Fire. Average, Roundup 5, Batman Atari, Street Cop on the NES, Judge Dredd, the light gun game, Mappy on the FM7, Narc, which was also Meh Plus, average, and GTA London. So that is the summary of this stream, and those I will note it down. The Final Lap fixes, there are no police cars in Final Lap Cow. It's probably for the best because they would be arresting me. Yeah, best with the gun games are best with the gun. Otherwise the challenge is a bit off and yeah. Anyway, that is that for this stream. So once again, thank you to everybody who's been here, everybody joining in the chat, everybody for putting forward their ratings on these games, and it was definitely interesting to see many more average games this time, because I think last time we only had like 2 or 3 average games, and the more obviously joules or junk. This time we got a lot of average ones. So again, a bit of variety here, and I think some of these will end up in a miscellaneous stream, the ones I've not played, because I've got Robocop here, I've got eSWAT on the list. Jailbreak, Chase HQ, POW, SWAT Police, that's his Korean janky game, Crime City, Looking Wild, Die Hard Arcade, Lethal Enforcers, Cops and Robbers on the C64, Contact Sam Cruise on the Spectrum I wanted to play. There's loads that I wanted to have a look at, but just didn't have time. So we'll probably put some of those in a list for a future stream. Anyway. And also, yes, there will be we're looking at the Final Lap bug fix on a future stream, and probably the Chambarrow one too. But yes, thank you to everybody. I'm not going to go through the whole list of everybody who's been here, but you know you have been here, and you know you've been taking part, and if you've been lurking, that is fantastic too, because it's good to get people to have a look at these games, see, show them off. If people see games they've not seen before and may decide they want to give them a try, all that type of thing. Blade Runner on the C64. Never played it, not heard of it. Don't know if it's in the software lists. Even Cops and Robbers wasn't in the software lists, but I added it. No mess drivers. There'll be no Final Lap. Not today. So, with that, I'll say bye, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their evening, days, or whatever time it is, and however long of the day you have left. I hope you enjoy it. So, I will see you all hopefully on the next stream. Take care, everybody, and good night.